sadly deluded and mistaken. And as you grow older, you will learn the bitter truth. And what is the bitter truth? The bitter truth, as every adult knows, every one of you knows, not a single person in this room right now is stress-free. Every one of us has issues that is troubling us. Every one of us has an aspect of pain and hurt and grief and anguish. Every one of us has worries, concerns. Every one of us is surrounded by doubts and fears and unknown and stress. And I'm not saying all stress is the same. Of course not. Everybody has a different aspect of stress. But I am saying we all share equally the fact that we are facing anxiety and grief, fear and pain, anguish, mental anguish, physical stress, social, every single person amongst us. And of course the adults know this, and I hope none of the adults actually thinks like a teenager and actually believes that their neighbor is living stress-free. No, nobody is like this. I agree. Stress is different, and I agree. What you're being challenged with might be different than other people. I'm not saying it's the same, but I am saying every one of us has our inner demons. And every one of us has our issues that trigger us, issues that affect us. For some it might be financial. And subhanAllah, you know, we are so weak, brothers and sisters. We are so weak that the exact same aspect.
Excuse me, sister. You
for
brought
some
something.
people, its presence is a stress, and for other people, its absence is a stress. We are so weak. We're so fragile. This is the reality. For so many of us, finances and not having money is a stress. And we're stressed out. I don't have enough money. How am I going to do this? How am I going to do my dreams? How am I going to pay the bills? Whatever. And that is a massive source of stress. And we cannot imagine that those whom Allah has tested with wealth, the multimillionaires and the billionaires, we cannot imagine, but if you were to ask them, what is your number one source of stress? It would be my money and managing my money and the fear of losing my money. That stress in general actually is much more than the stress of those who don't have money. In reality, the love that they have of their wealth and the stress that it causes them, it is actually much more than those that don't have it and want to have it. The grass is always greener on the other side. Those of us who are parents, and I'm amongst that category, having children, it's one of the biggest blessings, but it's also, see this white hair? See, this is all, alhamdulillah, Allah blessed me with 4 kids. They're no longer kids. My eldest 3 are university and postgrad. My son's becoming a doctor. I didn't tell him, by the way. That was his choice. I'm not your desi parent. Doctor, but no, not at all. He wanted to do it, so. But yeah, so that stress, this is my white hair. That stress. But subhanAllah, having children is a stress for the parents. And those whom Allah has tested with not having children is a stress for them. SubhanAllah. Such is the reality, right? You have it, you don't have it, it's a stress, subhanAllah. Those of you that are, mashallah, young and in college and wanting to get married, the stress of trying to find the right person. All the brothers are smirking over here, subhanAllah. Okay, Allah make it easy. The stress of, the thought of, am I finding the right, how am I going to get married, who's going to be the right person? That is one of the biggest issues of your young, mashallah, 20s. Am I going to find the right spouse? How am I going to get married? And you think that when you get married, all your stress is going to go away. Those of us who are married, no, alhamdulillah, just in case somebody's here and my wife's going to hear this, so mashallah, I wouldn't know, but I've heard that some married couples, I mean, I wouldn't know, I have no idea, but there is rumors that once you get married, there's also some stress attached to it, just a small bit. This is qila wa qal, we hear in the rumor mill, but I wouldn't know anything about that, just in case somebody is able to get in touch with my better half. Alhamdulillah. No, alhamdulillah, Allah has blessed me. This year we're celebrating our 28th year of marriage, alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah. So alhamdulillah, it's a big blessing, alhamdulillah, umma amma. But true, fact of the matter, I'm being very factual here, wallahi, it is true. Youngsters who are not married, your marriage, if it brings you the biggest joys of life, along with the most painful hurts, that is an average marriage. and only those who are married understand this. Your biggest happiness and your most traumatic emotional aspects are going to be because of a marriage. But as long as the happiness is more than the sadness, your marriage is good. If it's the other way around, then Allah musta'an, okay? But this is the reality. Stress comes. That's the reality. We are all dealing with issues. Every one of us. Nobody has a stress-free life. So our topic today, therefore, is going to be a very practical one. That's why I entitled it, Practical Lessons from the Seerah. Can't really get more practical than this, because we are all in the same category. So, I'm going to begin, but before I do so, I'm going to assign you with homework. You guys didn't know when you signed up that there's going to be homework. And not only one question, there's going to be two questions. Two questions. The first of them, you don't have to submit back to me. That's on you. And the second one, I'll give you the email address and you can actually send it back to me. So what I'm going to do for the rest of our time together is that I will dictate to you, I will literally dictate to you 5 explicit and specific methods from the seerah of combating stress. I will literally dictate maxim number 1, rule number 1, qaida number 1. I will dictate to you, we learn from the seerah, and you will write it down. And then I'll give you examples, and we'll go to number 2, then number 3, number 4, number 5. That will be our entire course for today. Very straightforward. Homework number 1 is for you guys. And that is, once you've written the rule down, and you've quickly made a note of some of the examples I have given you, I want you to reread the whole seerah and find other examples for these rules. And the reason why I'm giving you this assignment, and I'm telling you why as a teacher and professor should explain why, is I want you to start thinking thematically of the seerah. I'm training your mind to start thinking thematically, holistically, 3D. The way I look at it, rather than walk through in a 2-dimensional field, you're going to be popping out and looking at the seerah from above. You're going to be looking at it from the aerial view, and you're going to be picking and choosing different things, right? So you're going to rewire your brain. So that's assignment number 1. And I don't need that homework. That's on you, for you to benefit from. Because obviously time is limited. For every rule I'm going to give, I'm just going to give, 2, 3, 4 examples, and then that's it. The rest is on you. Okay? So understand? Everybody understand? Yes? Good? Okay. Assignment number 2 is, if you do it and you do it well, you will email it back to me. My email is askyq@epicmasjid.org. Askyq. One word, no dots, nothing. Askyq@epicmasjid, that is my masjid, epicmasjid.org. And you will email it back to me. And this assignment is very simple. I am writing a book on this topic as well. That's what I do. I teach, I preach, I give khutbahs and durus, I write books. I'm writing a book about practical lessons from the seerah to deal with stress and anxiety. And in the book I have around 10 rules, maybe 11, I haven't fully finished. It's being written right now. I have much more than 5 because obviously time is limited. I have 5 for the class for you guys. Obviously the book is larger. And the book has as many, I haven't finished it. I have maybe 10, 11, 12 there. Now, assignment 2 is the bonus assignment, in which the goal is that you guys find something that is a rule that is not amongst the 5 that I've taught you. Okay? You imagine and envision another rule. Okay? What's your name, sister? Mutia from Indonesia. Apa kabar? So, Sister Mutia, from which city am I right now? Remind me. Columbus. Of course I know Columbus. Of course, yes. Just travel so much, it's a blur. Sister Mutia is going to pay attention in this lecture series. She's going to take good notes with her, mashallah, pink pen. And she's going to write point number 1, point number 2, point number 5. And then she's going to go home and start reading the whole seerah beginning to end, aren't you? Inshallah. And as she reads the seerah, all of a sudden, a light bulb is going to go off. And she's going to say, hey, I've discovered rule number 6. that Sheikh Yasir Qadhi did not teach us. And she's going to then find examples. Example 1, example 2, example 3, example 4. And she's going to email me. What's my email address? See, I told you she's writing good notes. I'm seeing askyq@abibakr.org. And she's going to say that I am Sister Muti'a from Indonesia, and I took your class in Columbus in May of 2024. And I have a rule you didn't say. And she will then dictate this rule. I can't dictate it because I don't know what your rule is, but you will discover it for me.